Hey guys, what's up? It's Tees here coming at you with some College Football 26 news. I know the game is about 7-8 months away, but there are some leaks that are slowly coming out. And one of them I wanted to share with you guys was this article that I found thanks to Altruistic Brief 4444 on Reddit. So shout out to him for bringing this to everybody's attention on there. And if you're not on the Reddit page, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. It's the NCAA Football Series 1, and it has almost 200,000 people, maybe more. And it's just really cool to connect with a bunch of other people who love College Football 25 and just the NCAA Football Series in general. And yeah, so I just wanted to break this down to you guys to talk to you about what EA Sports is asking schools to improve for College Football 26, because in College Football 25, at least in my opinion, I thought they blew us out of the water. I know I've been waiting over a decade for this game to come out. Legitimately, I had every single video game from NCAA Football 2003 when I got my first PlayStation 2 all the way until NCAA 14, played every single game. This is the game I got every year, one I was super excited about, mainly because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan and because of how bad our team has been over the last few decades. The other team that I support in college football is Ohio State, and they're always really good, and that might have to do something with it as well, why I like college football a lot better. Plus, I just really enjoyed the gaming engine. It always seemed a lot better, a lot more fun, a lot more smooth in college football or NCAA football games compared to Madden. And even when, Madden was the only game out, playing it just didn't seem really smooth. So when College Football 25 came out, I was very surprised to see how similar, how different the engine was, and it didn't really feel like Madden at all to me. But before we jump into this video, guys, if you guys can please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and make sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss any College Football 26 updates or tips with Teeds in College Football 25. So yeah, let's get into the article, okay? This one's by Matt Brown. He works at Extra Points. By the time you're looking at this, he dropped it yesterday. I'm dropping this video earlier in the morning, which is rare for when I traditionally put out my videos, usually around noon Pacific time. Now it should be out around 9-ish, but I want everyone to get an idea of this and get some excitement in what to expect with maybe College Football 26. So I'm just going to go over this article with you guys, read it verbatim, so please don't knock me and my reading skills, okay? So the title is, Here's What EA Sports is Asking Schools to Improve EA Sports College Football 26. Years before the release of EA Sports College Football 25, EA reached out to participating institutions asking for all sorts of detailed information so the company could depict each school as accurately as possible. EA asked schools for uniform details, pregame music selections, student chants, hundreds of stadium photographs, preferred rivalries, and much more. The result was a massive commercial success. EA Sports College Football 25 is the best-selling video game of the year in the United States. It may go very well down as the best-selling sports video game ever. Critical and fan response has also been generally positive, with fans praising the game's gameplay and presentation. But nobody's perfect, and many fans quickly noticed a gap between what their schools share with EA and what actually made it into the game. Given the massive technical lift needed to render completely new stadiums for almost every FBS program, sources at EA told me over the last months that they simply weren't able to cram everything that they wanted, from gameplay features to program assets that they wanted. Fortunately, College Football 25 isn't the only college football game EA is making. While the company has continued to make updates and support College Football 25, active development on next summer's release, College Football 26, has been going on for months now, so that's good to know. As now, we know a little bit more about what EA wants from schools. According to documents obtained by Extra Points via multiple schools, CLC, the licensing agent coordinating between schools and EA Sports, sent out a survey in late September about game assets. According to that email, below you will find a link to a survey from EA Sports to provide input on the current in-game assets, stadium, uniforms, traditions, in-game activities, mascots, etc. And note any updates of changes that need to be considered for the next game. If there are no updates needed in a particular category, please note that at the beginning of each section. If you need to request player changes or you know of changes that will occur prior to next summer's game launch, for example, new uniforms, new on-field logos, etc., please note those accordingly and upload any image or files that will assist in game development. Initial deadline to respond to the survey was listed as October 18, and that date has passed a long time ago. But later emails obtained by Extra Points show the deadline extended to November 30th, so I wonder if not all the schools were able to get back to them in a timely manner. Sources at EA Sports have told me that November 30 deadline is not etched in stone, as that in that assets received now could still make the game, but institutions who haven't fully responded need to do so as soon as possible. So what is the survey? What's in it? What new assets did not appear in College Football 25? So what is in the survey? What new assets that did not appear in College Football 25 were on the request forms this year? Did the survey give us any clues about development priorities for the game? Let's take a look. So here is where they show you kind of what the survey looked like, which is awesome. Basically a screenshot, and it's going to break it down right here. This survey, which was 10 pages long via Google Forms, wow, that's huge, included many asset categories from last year. Like last season, EA reached out to ask schools to provide updates on the stadiums themselves, including any planned upgrades, new video boards, new premium seating, etc. One of the biggest changes across college football from last season is that new schools are now permitted to sell sponsorship space on their actual playing surface, which definitely was not allowed before. You wouldn't have anything to be put on the actual grass or turf or anything like that. While many schools made these changes before the start of 2024 season, EA was not able to include the updated field sponsorship assets for every team at launch. And I think it's reasonable to assume that such changes will be made for the 2025 season. So some of the questions here are from Stadiums and Field. Are there any changes to your stadium, including video boards, edge walls, name, sponsorship for the upcoming season? Please put details on the changes to your stadium here. Attach links if you have any. If your answer to the first question was yes, please attach any stadium, edge wall, video board reference files you can here. We can also have to request FBX or Rivet files. Just another name for files. And please detail any changes to your stadium coming in 2026 or beyond, if there are any. Beyond changes, EA also wanted to note that they weren't able to perfectly capture everything about every stadium in year one, and also provided a space for schools to list high priority changes of additions from the College Football 25 edition. EA also asked for suggested changes or additions for each game's pregame rituals and game presentation. The survey specifically highlighted a desire for assets showcasing the teams running out on the field during a night game, as well as more audio assets for things like first down callouts, third downs, etc. EA also specifically asked for each team's run-out flags, which I think is huge because I feel like in every single run-out that you had in College Football 25, you got, the cheerleaders and all those guys running out with the flags, and some of them are just very generic logos of the team that you're playing with, but it'd be nice to see if some of them are slightly different for their football version of their logos to see what would that look like. And to be honest, I thought they did an excellent job with all the stuff when it came to the stadiums. I know I'm a Fresno State fan. I live in the area, and I thought they did amazing there. Stadium looks awesome, but I'm sure there are little knickknacks here or there that they might have missed because, like they mentioned, they weren't able to put everything into this game, unfortunately. Going down more into the questions here, even if we got your chance stadium callouts last year, we'd love any additional reference to ensure they're accurate. For example, first down calls, cross-stadium callouts, post-touchdown chants. Please post any links of any reference videos you might have. If possible, we would like a video and or images of your team, 1, in the tunnel about to run out, and 2, running out of the tunnel and onto the field. Our lighting team has requested that if possible, these videos or images are from a night game. Video files can be separately sent to an email redacted. This was a high priority request from our lighting team, so please include whatever reference you have. I don't think that'd be too much of an issue for any of these big schools, really any school, because a lot of them, they record all of their footage on their own just for, documenting on their own specific YouTube channel, maybe for the SEC network, ACC network, or even smaller schools. They have their own networks that they post stuff on a weekly basis, so I don't think that should be too much of an issue for really any school that is going to be playing in this game or part of this game. Like last year, EA asked about any changes relating to base uniforms for next year, including potential changes to Pride sticker usage, uniform apparel partners, captain patches, helmet bumper designs, etc. The company also gave space for schools to request changes in how their uniforms were previously depicted, logo size, colors, fonts, etc., and to request uniforms that were not included in the current title, as well as uniforms that they'd like removed. Mascots. I know everyone's been asking about mascots. I know when the game came out, a lot of people were bummed that there was no mascot mode where you can play against the mascots. And to be honest, back when I played, I rarely played with that mode, but I did have some fun with it, so I definitely understand why people were kind of bummed that it wasn't included in this year's game. EA Sports College Football 25 did not include every FBS mascot, including some mascots from Power 4 teams, a decision I'm told that was based on resourcing constraints. animating mascot, it turns out, is also time consuming, which I completely agree and understand. And I know in Team Builder that, at least in the beginning of Team Builder, I stopped making Team Builder teams like a few months into the game, but you would automatically get the Clemson Tiger no matter what at your home games. It was just so random. Sources close to the company have told me developers want to add more mascots to College Football 26. The asset survey did ask each school if they wanted any changes to their current mascot depiction, allowing them to note that their IP wasn't in the last game and they'd like to change that. So the question that was asked was, are there any recent changes to your team's mascot or incurrencies with the current College Football 25 version? Please choose one of the following options. You got no, but there were some inaccuracies with how the mascot was portrayed. No, our mascot did not make it in College 25 and we'd like it in 2026. And yes. Marching bands. One of the most common bits of feedback I got about the game was that EA did not come close to properly depicting the uniforms for various collegiate marching bands, even if they nailed a few of the major traditions. Sources familiar with the game's development at EA admitted this, telling me that the video game marching band uniforms were not based on submitted assets, but were procedurally generated using the school's official colors. While EA is making no guarantees about changing this for next year, they did signal an openness to consider it via the survey. So, I mean, that makes sense because if you have to edit every single college football band's uniforms, like that's very intricate. That takes a lot more time than even just mascots. And don't get me wrong, it's a cool feature to show the bands at the stadium because they are a huge part of the game. But at the same time, that's not what people are all in for. At least for me personally, I could care less if they're in the game or not. When you first play the game the first few weeks, yes, it's cool to see them. But at the end of the day, all I really care about is jerseys and gameplay. And also like the accessories and things like that. Obviously, that's just the main thing that I do. That's me personally, but I understand why it's more generic just based on the colors. They maybe have one or two different, sets of uniforms for the bands, because if you have to do it every single one, that takes up a lot of space for something that's really not really required in the game. Obviously, it brings more realism to it, especially with the Xbox Series X and the PS5 and how much they can handle on a game. But at the same time, it's not mandatory. So let me know what you guys think down below about that. The band. So the question that we're asked we're evaluating the ability to support team-specific band uniforms. Can you please attach a photo references of band uniforms, male and female? In addition to the photos provided above, what color are the band's hats, tops, and bottoms, and is the hat of specific type? Is the home and away band location being moved for the upcoming season? Or did we get the band location incorrect in the past cycle? Please detail if so. So I believe this is more about where they are sitting in the stadium, because each stadium has a different area for their bands. Generally, I feel like it's on one of the end zones, one of the current college end zone, one of the end zones of the stadium, closer to the student section. To be honest, I don't 100% know off the top of my head because I don't really focus on that when watching the games, but I do see it from time to time. And the university that I went to didn't even have a football team, so I didn't get to experience that firsthand. Beyond marching bands, EA also provided space for schools to suggest new rivalry games or edit previous rivalry game information, and to provide updated information about props. Think turnover chains, thrones, chainsaws, etc., which would be cool because I don't know if I'm not pressing the right buttons, but I have not seen any of these like turnover chains or things that I saw in the opening drop videos that came out, and I was a little bummed about that, but honestly, I'm probably just doing it wrong. But it'd be cool to have more of them because every team I feel like is starting to have one of those things, so it'd be cool to have all those updated. It'd be difficult with the amount of universities and colleges there are in FBS, but it's definitely possible. There was also a few new licensing questions. Unlike last year, EA specifically asked schools to list any former players or legends they would want to see depicted in the game. Not every former college football player's IP is covered under any NFLPA licensing program, such as players who never played professional football. So their likenesses would need to be secured individually. This is possible, but time-consuming. So perhaps this tool could help in those efforts, which would add depth to the game's ultimate team modes and elsewhere. EA also asked schools for their preferred hashtag and if there are any logos they are no longer using. Licensing. What are former players and legends from your school that you would like to see us include in the game? Obviously, this is for the ultimate team side of it. Please detail any changes to your school's logo or logo slick, including primary logos. Provide links available. EA Sports has the access to art sheets for CLC institutions through Logos on Demand. You can also email logostick at redacted. Please list any logos or marks that are no longer being used by the university and specifically the athletic department football team, if any. What is your school's preferred primary and secondary athletics hashtags? For example, Go Pokes, Oklahoma State, Bronco Nation. I believe that one is Boise State, and etc. So, at the end of this, what does this all mean? I don't know if this part will make it into any of the various YouTube summaries of this newsletter, but let me state it explicitly here just in case. Just because EA is asking for something here does not guarantee that they will include it in the game or feature it in next year's video game release. Last year, EA asked for all sorts of audio assets for pregame presentations that ultimately did not make it into the game's final release, and some stadium and uniform updates were also not included. What actually goes into the game depends on licensing costs, developer bandwidth, when schools actually submit their information, and a ton of other variables, some even outside of the control of schools and developer teams. That being said, I would look at this survey as both an admission that EA has room to improve with team-specific realism and presentation, and a hint that they are at least considering more expansive ways to depict each school. I wonder why they would even want, school's authentic hashtag, or athletic hashtag, should I say. This is the very beginning of my digging around in the development of EA Sports College Football 26, as well as other video game projects. If you have any info to share, hit them up at matt@extrapointsmb.com. EA Sports, through a spokesperson, declined to provide comment for this story. So, what do you guys think about this? Are you guys looking forward to this? Are you stoked to hear about this? This is really cool in my opinion because obviously it does show that obviously they are working hard on the next game already, which is bound to happen for any game cycle. And in my opinion, I didn't expect everything to come in College Football 25. As much as I wanted it to, and they had so much time to do this and set all this up, I just didn't think that it was going to happen. And the main reason is because if you put everything in the first game, you don't really leave too much for the second game. You don't have much for people to kind of hope and excite them about the next year's game. You have to keep things available. As much as I would love it, in a perfect world, that would happen. But here, I was like, okay, crossplay not being a thing, especially for online dynasties, well, that could be a thing. You never know. It could be next year, could be the year after that. I mean, they did it in Madden, so it's very possible. Let me know down below what other things that you would love to add in College Football 26. I know one of the big talking points is also, having the road to glory starting out in high school. That was cool, don't get me wrong, but it just became very, very, forced in my opinion, and it even in NCAA 14 towards the end of it, and when I was playing it back in 2020 or 2019, it was fun, but it just wasn't what everyone is expecting. And I feel like a lot of people on Twitter are on there and they're just like, oh, we need to have that. And in my opinion, if you were to get that, it wouldn't be as cool as you want. You'd still be bummed about something. So I'm really hopeful about what College Football 26 is going to happen, or what's going to happen with that game, what they're going to add to it. But let me know down in the comments what you want in the new College Football 26 game. I know we still got about 7-8 months to go, and don't get me wrong, I am still heavily devoted to College Football 25, and I enjoy playing it, and I still do to this day. Just joined a brand new online dynasty, so be on the lookout for some of those videos that are popping up soon. But just let me know what you guys want in College Football 26, what you didn't like in College Football 25 that they might be able to make better in College Football 26, or some things that you really do like that you might not have expected. Let me know down in the comments. But if you made it this far to the video, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Please leave a like if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and make sure to turn on my notifications so you don't miss another Tips with Tees in College Football 25, even though this wasn't College Football 25, but also any groundbreaking or news that comes out with College Football 26, I will definitely be posting it on my channel, so you definitely also want to have your notifications on for that as well. But that'll be it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.